They say blood is thicker than water, but apparently it's not thicker than wedding budgets. I learned that when my own brother decided I wasn't worth the cost of a dinner plate at his reception. So I showed him exactly what excluding family really costs. I'm still shaking as I write this, and I honestly don't know if I'm in the right or if I've just nuked my relationship with my family forever. But I need to get this out, and maybe you can help me figure out if I've gone completely insane. Some background. I'm 28F, the youngest of 5 kids. My siblings are Mark, 35M, Lisa, 33F, David, 31M, and Rachel, 29F. We're a close family, or at least I thought we were. We do holidays together, group chats, the whole thing. Mark is getting married to his fiancée, Stephanie, 32F, next month. I should mention up front that Stephanie and I have never clicked. It's not that we hate each other, we're just different. She's very into appearances, social media, designer, everything. I'm more of a jeans and sneakers, work with my hands kind of person. She's never been outright rude to me, but there's always been this undercurrent of judgment. Like when I showed up to their engagement party in a nice dress from Target and she made a comment about how budget-friendly options can be so cute. But Mark loves her, so I've always tried to be supportive. I helped with engagement party planning, went dress shopping with her, even though she shot down every opinion I offered, and genuinely tried to be a good future sister-in-law. The drama started about 3 months ago. The family group chat had been buzzing with wedding talk for weeks. Save the dates, venue details, dress code discussions. I was excited. I'd never been to a sibling's wedding before, and I was already planning what to wear, thinking about my speech, the whole thing. Then the formal invitations went out. Lisa posted a photo of hers in our family group chat. It was gorgeous, thick cardstock, gold foil, the works. Can't wait to celebrate you too, she wrote. Rachel posted hers next. So fancy. Love it. David chimed in with his. Looking forward to the party. I waited for mine to arrive. Checked the mail every day. Nothing. After a week, I figured it was just a postal delay. After 2 weeks, I started to worry. After 3 weeks, I was confused and hurt, but I didn't want to make waves, so I texted Mark directly. Hey, just wondering if my invitation got lost in the mail? Haven't gotten it yet, but saw everyone else posting theirs. He didn't respond for 6 hours. When he finally did, it was just, can we talk? I'll call you tonight. That call is burned into my memory forever. Sarah, this is really hard for me to say, Mark started, and my stomach dropped. But we had to make some really tough decisions about the guest list. What do you mean? The venue has capacity limits, and with Stephanie's family being so large, plus our college friends and work colleagues, we just couldn't invite everyone we wanted to. I was confused. But you invited Lisa, Rachel, and David. Long pause. I know this sucks. But we had to draw the line somewhere, and since you're the youngest and don't have a +1 situation, you're uninviting me from your wedding because I'm single? It's not about that. It's just, couples take up 2 spots, and we need those spots for Stephanie's extended family and some important work connections. You understand, right? I was speechless. Mark, I'm your sister. I know, and you know how much you mean to me. We'll do something special, just family, after the honeymoon. Maybe a nice dinner to celebrate. I hung up. I actually hung up on my own brother. I was devastated. I cried for hours. This wasn't just about missing a party. This was about being told I didn't matter enough to be included in one of the most important days of his life. That his fiancé's second cousins and his boss were more important than his own sister. But I tried to be mature about it. I really did. I sent him a text the next day saying I was hurt, but I understood budget constraints were tough, and I hoped they had a beautiful day. His response? Thanks for being so understanding. You're the best. I didn't tell the other siblings what had happened. I was too embarrassed. When the topic came up in family conversations, I'd just change the subject or make excuses about why I wasn't participating in wedding planning discussions. Then, 2 weeks ago, everything changed. I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw Stephanie's story. She was at some fancy bridal boutique with her bridesmaids, getting accessories. But that's not what caught my attention. It was the conversation I could hear in the background of her video. Are you sure about the rehearsal dinner guest list? One of the bridesmaids asked. Oh yeah, we're doing 60 people. Both families, the wedding party, plus Mark's college roommates and their wives, and my cousins from Portland, Stephanie replied. 60 people at the rehearsal dinner. I did some quick math in my head and realized that was almost as many people as some entire weddings I'd been to. I started paying closer attention to their social media after that. And what I found made my blood boil. Stephanie had been posting constantly about wedding planning. The venue seated 200 people. They'd hired a live band, professional photographer, videographer, and day of coordinator. She posted about her 3 dress fittings, the flower arrangements that cost more than my monthly rent, and the intimate welcome party they were throwing the night before for close family and friends. This was not a budget wedding. This was not a small, family-only affair. This was a massive, expensive celebration. But wait, it gets worse. I started looking at who was actually invited based on social media posts and comments. Mark's college roommates and their girlfriends. Stephanie's sorority sisters. Her parents' neighbors. Her dad's golf buddies. People I'd never even heard of were posting about getting their dresses and booking hotel rooms. The final straw came when I saw that Stephanie's cousin's new boyfriend, a guy she'd been dating for 2 months, was invited. A stranger got an invitation to my brother's wedding, but I didn't. That night, I called Rachel. I needed to talk to someone, and I thought she'd be sympathetic. Rachel, can I ask you something about Mark's wedding? Sure, what's up? Did you know I wasn't invited? Silence. Then, what do you mean you weren't invited? Mark called me 3 weeks ago and told me they couldn't invite me due to budget constraints and venue capacity. That can't be right. Sarah, you're his sister. I know. But he said they had to draw the line somewhere, and since I'm single and don't need a +1. But Stephanie's cousin Jake is bringing that girl he just started dating. And what about Mark's friend Tom? He's single and he's invited. My heart sank. He is? Yes. He posted about getting fitted for a tux last week. We talked for another hour. Rachel was as confused and upset as I was. She offered to talk to Mark, but I asked her not to. I didn't want family drama, and I was still hoping maybe there had been some mistake. But then Rachel mentioned something that made everything click into place. You know what's weird? At the engagement party, I heard Stephanie talking to her mom about how she wished the guest list could be more curated. I thought she was just talking about random +1s, but now I'm wondering. What do you mean, more curated? I don't know, she kept talking about how important it was that everyone at the wedding fit the vision and the aesthetic of the day. And suddenly it all made sense. This wasn't about budget constraints or venue capacity. This was about Stephanie deciding I didn't fit the aesthetic of her perfect wedding. The Target dress-wearing, practical sister who didn't mesh with her vision of sophisticated celebration. I was hurt before. Now I was furious. But I still might have kept quiet, except for what happened next. The following weekend was my mom's 60th birthday. The whole family got together for dinner at a nice restaurant. All the siblings were there, plus Stephanie. The conversation inevitably turned to the wedding, and I had to sit there listening to everyone discuss details of an event I was excluded from. Stephanie was showing off her final dress-fitting photos when she looked at me and said, with this saccharine smile, Sarah, you should plan a girls' night with me and the other sisters soon. We need to have some sister bonding time before the wedding. I stared at her. I'm not invited to your wedding. The table went completely silent. Mark's face went red. Sarah, we talked about this. No, Mark, you talked. I listened. But now Stephanie is talking about sister bonding, and I think everyone should know that she doesn't consider me enough of a sister to invite to her wedding. That's not fair, Stephanie said, her voice getting tight. The venue has capacity limits. The venue seats 200 people, I said calmly. You're having a 60-person rehearsal dinner. You invited Jake's girlfriend of 2 months. You invited Dad's college roommate who you've met twice. But you couldn't find room for your fiancé's sister. Lisa looked shocked. Wait, the venue seats 200? Mark, you told Mom it was a small venue with limited space. Mark was squirming. It is limited. There are fire codes and... You invited 200 people, I continued. I saw the catering estimate Stephanie posted on her private Instagram story. 200 meals ordered. Stephanie's face went pale. You're following my private stories? We're Instagram friends. You know I can see them, right? Mom looked confused and hurt. Mark, honey, why isn't Sarah invited? It's complicated, Mom. No, it's not, I said. It's simple. Stephanie doesn't think I fit the aesthetic of her perfect wedding. I'm too poor, too unsophisticated, too embarrassing to be included in her curated celebration. That is not true, Stephanie snapped, but her voice cracked. Then explain it to me. Explain how you have room for 60 people at your rehearsal dinner, but not room for Mark's sister at your wedding. Mark finally exploded. Fine. You want the truth? Stephanie's parents are paying for most of the wedding, and they get a say in the guest list. They wanted to invite their extended family and friends, and we had to make cuts somewhere. And you chose to cut your own sister. It wasn't personal. It was literally the most personal thing you could do. The dinner ended with me walking out, Mom crying, and everyone else sitting in stunned silence. I drove home and did something I'd never done before in my life. I went nuclear on social media. I wrote a Facebook post that I spent 2 hours crafting, editing, and perfecting. I made sure every word was true and verifiable. I want to share something that's been weighing on my heart. 3 weeks ago, my brother Mark called to tell me I wouldn't be invited to his wedding due to budget constraints and venue capacity limits. I was hurt, but I try to be understanding. Weddings are expensive and guest lists are hard. But then I found out the truth. Mark and Stephanie are having a 200-person wedding with a 60-person rehearsal dinner. They found room for distant relatives, casual acquaintances, and even someone's boyfriend of 2 months, but they couldn't find room for Mark's sister. When I asked for an explanation tonight at our mother's 60th birthday dinner, I was told that his fiancé's parents are paying for the wedding and wanted their friends invited instead of his family. I'm not posting this for sympathy or to cause drama. I'm posting it because I want people to know that sometimes family isn't about blood, it's about who shows up for you. And sometimes the people who are supposed to show up for you decide you're not worth $150 for a dinner plate. Mark, I love you, but I'm done pretending this is okay. Stephanie, I hope your curated, aesthetic wedding is everything you dreamed it would be. Just know that you didn't just exclude me. You broke our family. To everyone else, hug your siblings. You never know when they'll decide you're not important enough to celebrate with. I tagged both of them in the post and made it public. Then I posted it to Instagram with the same text, plus screenshots of Stephanie's stories about the venue capacity, catering numbers, and photos of her with people I knew were invited. The response was immediate and explosive. Within an hour, I had dozens of comments from family friends, extended relatives, and mutual acquaintances expressing shock and support. People were tagging Mark and Stephanie, asking if it was true. Mark's high school friends were commenting that they couldn't believe it. Our cousins were outraged. But the comment that really got attention was from our Aunt Karen, Mom's sister. Mark, honey, I'm so disappointed. Your grandmother is rolling over in her grave. She would have sold her wedding ring to make sure all her children were at a family celebration. Sarah has been nothing but supportive of this relationship, and this is how you repay her? Shameful. That comment got 47 likes and started a thread of extended family members piling on. Mark's phone started ringing immediately. He called me first, screaming, "How could you do this? You've embarrassed us in front of everyone." I told the truth. If the truth is embarrassing, maybe you should have made different choices. Take it down. Take it down right now. No. Sarah, this is going to ruin our wedding. You ruined our relationship first. He hung up. Then Stephanie called, crying. Please, Sarah, please take it down. People are calling me a bridezilla and Mark's family is attacking me online. I'm Mark's family too, and you excluded me. It wasn't personal. My parents. Your parents don't even know me. You made this decision. That's not true. Stephanie, be honest. Did you, or did you not tell Mark that having me at the wedding would mess with your vision? Silence. Did you, or did you not suggest that the guest list should be more curated, to fit the aesthetic you wanted? More silence. I thought so. The fallout was swift and brutal. Lisa posted her own response. I had no idea Sarah wasn't invited. This is wrong. Mark, fix this. Rachel commented on my post, standing with my sister. This is not the brother I know and love. David called Mark directly and told him he was ashamed to be related to him. Mom posted, and Mom never posts on Facebook. I raised my children to love and support each other. I'm heartbroken that one of my sons chose a party over his sister. The extended family rallied around me. Cousins, aunts, uncles. Everyone was expressing support and disappointment in Mark's decision. But the real chaos came from Mark and Stephanie's social circles. Their college friends started questioning whether they should attend a wedding where the groom had excluded his own sister. Some of Stephanie's sorority sisters commented that they'd be uncomfortable celebrating under these circumstances. Mark's best man, his college roommate Chris, actually called me. Sarah, I had no idea you weren't invited. Mark told me it was immediate family only, but then I see all these other people posting about it. This doesn't sit right with me. Within 48 hours of my post, 3 couples had dropped out of the wedding. The best man was reconsidering his participation. 2 bridesmaids had called Stephanie to express concerns. But the nuclear bomb came from an unexpected source, Stephanie's own grandmother. Stephanie's grandmother, Nana Rose, is 87 years old and apparently follows everyone on Facebook. She commented on my post. Stephanie dear, I raised you better than this. A bride who excludes her husband's family for vanity is not a bride I can celebrate. I will not be attending the wedding unless this is made right. Family comes first always. Nana Rose has been the matriarch of Stephanie's family for decades. When she speaks, everyone listens. Her comment got shared in the family group chats, and suddenly Stephanie was getting calls from her own relatives questioning the decision. 3 days after my post, Mark and Stephanie's carefully planned wedding was falling apart. The venue coordinator called them because several vendors were asking questions after seeing the social media drama. The photographer was concerned about negative publicity affecting her business. 2 members of the bridal party had dropped out. But the final straw came when Stephanie's own mother called her and said the family was embarrassed by the situation. Stephanie, honey, you need to fix this. People are calling us selfish and materialistic. This isn't the image we want for our family. For days after my post, my phone rang. It was Mark, but he sounded completely different. Defeated. Sarah, can we please talk? In person. We met at a coffee shop near my apartment. Mark looked like he hadn't slept in days. I'm sorry, he said immediately. I'm so sorry. You're right about everything. Am I? Stephanie did say she wanted the guest list to be more polished. She said having too many family members would make it feel too casual. She wanted it to feel sophisticated and elegant. And you went along with it. I was trying to make her happy. It's her dream wedding, and I wanted to give her what she wanted. Even if it meant hurting your sister. I didn't think. I thought you'd understand. I thought family would be more forgiving than friends or her family. That's exactly the problem, Mark. You took my love for granted. You assumed I'd just accept being treated poorly because I'm family. He started crying. I've been such an idiot. Mom won't talk to me. David says I'm dead to him until I fix this. Lisa canceled her shower gift order. Even Chris is considering not being my best man. And Stephanie? How does she feel about all this? She's not handling it well. She's angry at me for not managing you better. She's angry at you for ruining her wedding. She's angry at her own grandmother for taking your side. So she's angry at everyone except herself. She wants you to take down the post and issue a public apology for embarrassing her. I laughed. I actually laughed. She wants me to apologize? I told her that wasn't going to happen. I told her this is our fault, and we need to fix it. How do you propose to fix it? I want to invite you to the wedding. Officially. I want to make a public apology and set the record straight. It's a little late for that, don't you think? I know I probably destroyed our relationship forever. But I have to try to make this right. I looked at my brother, really looked at him. He did look genuinely remorseful. But I also knew that this apology was motivated more by the social consequences than by actual understanding of what he'd done to me. Mark, let me ask you something. If I hadn't made that post, if the wedding hadn't started falling apart, would you be here apologizing to me right now? He was quiet for a long time. Honestly, probably not. I probably would have convinced myself that you'd get over it and we'd all move on. At least you're honest. I want to do better. I want to be the brother you deserve. What about Stephanie? Is she going to apologize too? Or is she still convinced this is all my fault? She's struggling with taking responsibility. She feels like everyone's ganging up on her. Mark, I need you to understand something. This isn't about a wedding invitation anymore. This is about respect. This is about whether I matter to you as much as your fiancé's opinion of me. You do matter. You matter so much. Then prove it. That conversation was a week ago. Here's what's happened since. Mark posted his own public Facebook apology. I need to publicly apologize to my sister Sarah and to everyone who was hurt by my terrible decision-making around my wedding. Sarah was right about everything. I excluded my own sister from my wedding not because of budget constraints, but because I was trying to please people who mattered less than family. I took Sarah's love and forgiveness for granted, and I betrayed the values our parents raised us with. Sarah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for lying to you. I'm sorry for excluding you, and I'm sorry it took public embarrassment for me to realize how wrong I was. You are invited to my wedding, of course, and I hope someday you can forgive me for being such a poor excuse for a brother. To everyone else, family should come first always. I forgot that, and I'm going to spend a long time making up for it. The post got hundreds of supportive comments, mostly people praising him for owning his mistakes and doing the right thing. But Stephanie's response was different. She made her own post, but it was much more defensive. I want to address the recent social media situation around our wedding. While I understand that feelings were hurt, I also want people to know that wedding planning is incredibly stressful and difficult decisions have to be made. I never intended to exclude Sarah, and I'm sorry that our initial planning decisions caused pain. We're happy to extend an invitation now and hope we can all move forward as a family. I hope people can respect our privacy during this difficult time and understand that there are always two sides to every story. Her post got a much colder reception. People called it non-apology and pointed out that she never actually took responsibility or admitted wrongdoing. The wedding is in 2 weeks, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to go. On one hand, Mark's apology seemed genuine, and I do want to support him if he's really learned from this. On the other hand, Stephanie clearly still thinks I'm the villain in this story, and I don't want to spend an entire wedding day being glared at by a bride who resents my presence. The family dynamics are still weird. Mom is speaking to Mark again, but their relationship is strained. Rachel and Lisa are going to the wedding but have made it clear they're only going for Mark, not for Stephanie. David is still on the fence about attending at all. The guest list drama has continued too. Several people who were originally invited have decided not to attend because they're uncomfortable with the whole situation. But I've also been told that some people are coming specifically because they want to show support for me and for family values. It's going to be the most awkward wedding in history. But here's the thing that really bothers me. I don't think Stephanie has actually learned anything from this. I think she's just angry that her perfect wedding got ruined, and she's going through the motions of making peace to salvage what's left. Mark seems genuinely remorseful, but he's still with someone who fundamentally doesn't respect his family. What happens at the next major life event? Will Stephanie decide his siblings don't fit the aesthetic of their baby shower or housewarming party? Part of me feels vindicated. I exposed the truth, I got my apology, and I forced Mark to confront the fact that he was prioritizing his fiancée's superficial concerns over his family relationships. But part of me also feels guilty. I did ruin their wedding. I did cause family drama. I did embarrass them publicly. Maybe there was a more mature way to handle this. Then again, I tried the mature way first. I tried being understanding about budget constraints and venue limitations. I tried to be supportive even when I was excluded. It was only when I realized I'd been lied to and manipulated that I decided to fight back. So, Reddit, Was I justified in publicly calling out my brother for excluding me from his wedding, or did I take the nuclear option too quickly? I exposed his lies about budget constraints and venue capacity. I revealed that his fiancée had prioritized aesthetics over family, and I forced him to choose between social embarrassment and doing the right thing. The wedding is still happening, but it's been permanently damaged by the truth coming out. Relationships have been strained, people have taken sides, and Stephanie will never forgive me for ruining her perfect day. But maybe perfect days built on excluding family aren't worth having in the first place. All I know is that I refuse to be quietly erased from my brother's life, and sometimes making noise is the only way to make sure you're heard. Update: I decided to go to the wedding. I figured I owed it to Mark to show up after he publicly apologized and tried to make things right. It was awkward. Stephanie was coldly polite to me, but you could tell she resented having me there. Several guests made a point of coming up to me to say they were glad I was there and that they'd been following the drama on Facebook. The most satisfying moment came during the reception when Nana Rose, Stephanie's grandmother, made a point of seeking me out. "You did the right thing, dear," she told me. "Sometimes young people need to be reminded what really matters. Family first, always." Mark and I had a good conversation at the reception. He seems committed to rebuilding our relationship and setting better boundaries with Stephanie about family matters. The marriage is still new, so only time will tell if this experience actually changed anything, or if it just taught them to be more careful about excluding family in the future. Final update: 6 months later. Well, Reddit, you'll be interested to know that Mark and Stephanie are getting divorced. It turns out that the wedding drama was just the tip of the iceberg in terms of their incompatibility. According to Mark, the stress of the whole situation revealed some fundamental differences in their values and priorities that they'd been avoiding. Stephanie never forgave me for ruining her wedding, and she spent the first few months of marriage trying to convince Mark to cut contact with me and the rest of the family. When he refused, their relationship deteriorated quickly. Mark says he realized that he'd been compromising his own values and relationships to please someone who didn't respect the things that were important to him. They're divorcing amicably, and Mark has apologized to the whole family for putting us through the wedding drama for a relationship that was doomed anyway. He's also thanked me for forcing the issue, because he says it helped him see Stephanie's true character before they had kids or built a more complicated life together. So I guess sometimes public embarrassment is exactly what people need to see clearly. Mark and I are closer than we've ever been, and he's promised that family will always come first in his future relationships. We'll see if he keeps that promise, but for now, I'm just glad to have my brother back. Sometimes the best revenge is just refusing to be treated poorly, even when it causes temporary chaos. The truth has a way of working itself out in the end.